So the main goal of this meeting today is to get you all ready to be able to start recruiting and registering kids come October 1st. This is an entirely new process we've got this year. So if you don't attend the training or you don't watch this recording of it, once it's posted, you absolutely will not know what to do. Everything's new. All the documents that were posted on the district website are gone. They've moved to the new RYLA website, where we have tried to set up one-stop shopping for RYLA. And there's a few things you need to know, and they're not intuitive. So hopefully everybody will get around to watching this video, or I'll be getting a lot of phone calls, I expect. All right, so let me just start out and talk to you a little bit about what the philosophy was in kind of redoing all these RYLA processes. First of all, the main thing that was driving it is we wanted to make it a paperless process. And if any of you were involved in it in the past, you will know that it was anything but paperless. So we have succeeded in doing that. So it will be paperless. We wanted RYLA to be discoverable, but we didn't want kids to be able to apply to RYLA without a club stepping up to sponsor them, okay? Or identified as a potential sponsor would probably be a better choice of words there. We wanted it to be a simpler process for both the students and the POCs, and I think we've achieved that, I believe. One of the things we wanted was to make sure that you guys, the POCs, are known to the students and are involved in the process. We had quite a few cases in the past where we'd get calls from students that didn't know who to contact. Sometimes they didn't know what club was sponsoring them. So the way this is set up today, they'll know that. And like I said earlier, we wanted to make the new RYLA website, which I'm going to show you here in a minute, one-stop shopping for RYLA. And with one exception, which is intentional, we did that. And I'll tell you what that exception is as we go along here. And so in a nutshell, the process we've got is pretty simple, if you look at it at a high level. You find the kids or the kids find you. That's the discoverable part. It may be some kids find our website, like what they see, and want to go to RYLA. And we'll help them discover a Rotary club that is a potential sponsor. So you find the kids or they find you. Through a proactive act, give the kids access to the RYLA application. Without it, they will not be able to apply. So we're not going to have any blind applications coming in unless some kid that you've authorized shares information with their buddies, which has and may well happen. But we can deal with that. The kids, after you give them application, the kids fill out the application, you give them access, the kids fill out the application, you vet the applications, look them over, think about the various candidates you have, select the ones you want to sponsor, and you move them to a candidate status, and then you are done. The RYLA team does the rest of the work. And if you had done this and been involved in this before, you will say, well, where's all those waivers at? We're going to handle that paperlessly. And you, unless something goes south in the process, you will not be involved in the waiver process. So that's it in a nutshell. It's really pretty simple. I'm going to show you how to do all that stuff here in just a minute. We got a bunch of new tools to make this happen. We've got a new RYLA website that Sean Ham, who you see on your screen there, has developed for us. Sean's a new Rotarian with the Marion Club, and I'm sure glad he found us and joined up. He's done a great job on that, and he'll walk you through it here in just a minute. We have a new paperless recruiting application process. It involves a new module that we have purchased, we are going to purchase from DACDB. And I'm going to show you that here in a minute. We have a new waiver process that also works through DACDB that we will also show you. I want to give you a little disclaimer now. I told you at the beginning, we're trying to get you ready to recruit by October 1st. And the reason we want a little bit of time between now and then is we still have a little bit of tweaking to do. We're still kind of developing some things here. And if you look at some of the documents and some of the processes out there, you might see some things that could be done better or maybe need to be corrected. And if you see those, point them out to us because we want to get them corrected. But we know about some of those things. We'll get them corrected before October 1st. All right, so what we're going to do today is we're going to go over all those processes and those tools. At the end of the session here, I'm going to kind of reinforce the need for y'all to find us some kids and particularly to find us some kids that will be willing to serve on the student advisory group. We're going to call it the SAD group, and I'll talk to you about what we want them to do. And we're going to talk a little bit about coaches and how that process is going to work. All right, now I'm going to turn it over to Sean here, since he did all the heavy lifting on this new RYLA website. I'm going to let him walk you through it and explain it. And then I'm going to come back when I start talking about how you do things. And I'm going to bring that website up and share it on my screen and show you where all the information is that you need. So Sean.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. Yeah, I joined, actually, small correction, the Valdez Rotary Club over here on the eastern side of the district. That's okay. I joined them about a year ago, but I've been a Rotarian for going on 10, 12 years now. So glad to join you guys here in District 7670. The RYLA Planning Committee that I'm on with Mike, we all agreed that we really did need a new website that would help be the main point, the main go-to for all of our information with regard to our event coming up. So I'm going to share my screen here. And hopefully you guys give me a thumbs up if you can see the new website. Okay, good. Thank you. So here we are. This is it. This is our new website. It's www.ryla7670.org. I was able to pull a bunch of pictures and video and everything from some other Rotarians that participated in 2019. So the pictures and stuff you see, the majority of are from previous events. On the first homepage, we wanted it to be exciting and welcoming. And so folks that come to our website will see a little bit of an overview about what RYLA is and the impact it's had throughout the world, how other folks can help, and then getting to know us a little bit, as well as at the very bottom will be latest news, updates, things that are happening over the next few months as we get started in the recruitment process. So always check back in here. What we're going to try to do is anytime we send emails out and updates, we're also going to update the website here as well. So feel free to explore that a little bit. Across the top, you'll see our different pages. So we have an about page, Rotarian page, student page, post event or past events, and latest news, and then a menu option there too. So if we went over to the about page, some folks will see some familiar faces in that picture. But essentially, it's a little bit about the mission and history of RYLA, some of the benefits of attending.
Christy, what's our time frame on the Lake Logan 6th and 7th of October?
I think someone's not muted, and I got some feedback there. So benefits of attending here, a little bit about our planning committee, and then some of our partners. As we get support and other partnerships, and whatnot, we can add that to our website so that folks can get recognition. So please let me know if you find other donations and supporters, we can give them recognition here. I'm going to skip over the Rotarian page because that's going to be the meat and potatoes of our training tonight, but I will come back to that. Hopefully students will be directed either to the About page or the student page. And this is essentially everything students, parents, schools, everyone needs to know, and all the documents they will need to know about. There's a student flyer. You just click on the PDF and it'll pull up as a separate page and download. For parents, we've got a flyer here that they can download. The how to apply, this is really important here. It's a PDF on the step-by-step process of getting in touch with Rotary clubs and point of contacts at the clubs. Here's a campus map link here for the YMCA Blue Ridge Assembly. And then the agenda, tentative agenda, is available by clicking on the little calendar there. Eventually, once we get along down the road, we're going to get a packing list on there, and then some frequently asked questions will be on there. So as the months go by, we're going to keep updating and adding to it and adjusting. So have everybody continue to keep coming back to the website for updates. Something I heard from previous Rotarians that joined in 2019, they said, man, it would be a great idea to have lots of pictures and videos from past events. So I went ahead and made a spot where we can put those kinds of things. So folks will see that 2021 was canceled, 2022 was canceled, most recently 2019, and we'll fill this in as the years go by. But lots and lots of pictures. There's video from 2019, all kinds of pictures down here in a collage, and we will just continue to add more and more and more to this so students can look back at their previous events and reminisce a little bit. We've got the latest news page here. That's where we're going to have all the updates. So if you're questioning whether there was any new updates that you've missed, you can find them here on the website. Going back to the Rotarians tab, if you click on the Rotarian tab, it's going to be password protected. Mike will probably touch on this a little bit more, but generally speaking, the reason why we wanted this to be password protected is so that only Rotarians can access the materials and the handouts and the different handbooks and whatnot that are specific to us being prepared for the event. We don't need students getting all into this information and learning all the recipes and secrets and ways of RYLA being a successful event. So I'll go ahead and give you that password. That's capital RYLA, RYLA 7670. Pretty easy. So all capital RYLA 7670. Feel free to share that with any of our Rotarian colleagues. It is this particular tab and page of the website is for us, just not for the students. So once you plug that in, it'll bring you over to that page, and it looks very similar to the other pages. A little bit of information you can read about tonight. We're doing our training here, and then once we've gotten the video pulled together from tonight, I will put the link to that so that it would be available for everyone to see again. So this is where you'll find that. two really important documents that we'll discuss tonight is managing your applications. Mike's going to go through that with you. That PDF is available, as well as the application access document. That's the document that you'll share with students, and that PDF is available here as well. So that's where you'll find those two very important documents. A little bit about our new application. And then what we did is we took all of the documents that were on the district website, or DACDB, I can't remember exactly where they were, but we've taken them off of that site, and now it's going to be on our website. So when you're talking about recruiting, here's the documents you'll need for that. When you're talking about becoming a coach or have someone interested in being a coach, this is where they'll find their information. A few other RYLA event documents like the campus map and agenda, that's a direct replica of what's on the student page. And then just a little bit about being a leader and being a RYLA coach. So this is where all of our documents will be housed. And as we get more documents or any changes and updates, feel free to come and click on those PDFs and get those new documents downloaded. So that's an overall picture of the new website. I hope you guys like it. We're gonna continue to make it user-friendly and very welcoming for our RYLA attendees as well as our Rotarians. And I'll definitely welcome any feedback or ideas or recommendations. I'll put my my direct email in the chat, so you can email me and let me know if you have some ideas. With that, if anyone has any immediate thoughts or ideas, please go for it.
Paige, you've got some?
I do. Just a question. First of all, Sean, this is awesome. It is just, not only is it beautiful, it's really very easy to follow. And anyway, super impressed. The Rotarian tab, is it okay if we share that with our faculty sponsor at the school?
That is probably not preferable.
Okay.
That's really just, it's all kind of internal information for Rotarians. And there's one document in there, this application, this one that, Sean, go back up to application access document. This application access document right there is kind of one of the main reasons we protected this site, because this is what lets kids get to the application and fill them out. And we don't want kids filling them out unless they have been talked to by a Rotary Club. Okay, we don't mind them looking at their website and getting interested and excited, but we don't want them filling out an application until we got a club that can make a decision on the kid.
Okay, and I'm sure you're going to go through all those steps here shortly.
Yes, we are. I'm going to go through.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
All right, let's stop.
Back to you, Mike.
Okay, let's see here. We got nobody in the waiting room, so let's go on ahead here. Okay, so the idea here is that everything that you need to do recruiting is out here on this website. And I'm gonna bring that website back up under my share. And let's see here. Nope. Need something to go away here. The little share bar is blocking all my windows up there. I can't see. Let me give this 1 second. I think it'll clear here in just a second. Well, I'm going to start this again here. Hang on, guys. Well, all right, There we go. Let's see now. There, that's where I wanted to be. That old bar won't go away this time. So anyway, there we are. So we're back on the new RYLA website. If you forget what this RYLA website is, I told you everything is out here except for one thing. The one thing that is not out here is how you get to this website and what the code is to get on. And you will find that on the district website under the RYLA tab. It's the only thing that's left out there. And it's a very simple document in case you forget to get to this link right here. And it has that password to get to the Rotarian section on it. So that's the only thing that isn't out here. So, all right, so let's talk about this. So we're at the Rotarian section. So first of all, let's talk about maybe some recruiting strategies for this year. So I'm going to have to sign in. We're already signed in. Okay. So let's go down to this. Here's this document. I'm going to pull this up, and you guys, when you get on the website, all these documents are out there for you too. But I'm going to talk about this one called recruiting strategies. This may be a little different year for most clubs than we've had in the past. Rotary clubs recruit students in a lot of different ways, I've found out. A lot of them are used to going to their interact clubs and kind of explaining RYLA to the kids and asking for a show of hands and then taking names and handing out applications. Well, that's still possible to do. I am guessing that, and I know that some of the interact clubs that we used to have don't exist anymore. They did not survive the pandemic. And I think that what we might find is that we're going to be doing a little more of what we talked about with Tom Reitmeyer a little earlier, which is trying to do recruiting through school administration. Now, if you still have an interact club and you want to recruit that way, that is fine. Go to the interact club, explain a little bit about RYLA, but you might as well just direct them to the website you just saw. You know, all the information's out there. There's pictures out there that they can kind of get excited about. So it's really inconvenient having that bar stuck up there where I can't see what I'm clicking on up there. Okay. So go back to, you know, so you're talking to RYLA, you're talking to your interact club, and you got a group of students that might be interested. You send them over here to the district website, you give them that address, they go to the student section and they start looking around at stuff. And this is, over time, we want to improve this to be more exciting. We did not have a lot of what you would call really good video from our RYLA we did in 2019. That's something we want to try to improve upon this year. But what they will find out here in the student section, first of all, is this PDF out here, which tells them why they should go to RYLA, what it's all about, why they should join it. So you can, if you want to, you can print this thing out and give it to them. But I think actually sending them to the website is a more effective way of doing it. Let me see if I can get rid of that boy. Guys, I apologize for this difficulty. And oh, never mind. I moved it. Okay. Let's see here.
While you're looking, may I ask one question?
Yes, you may.
This is Andy Walker at the Highlands Mountaintop Club. You said that the only thing not on the website was the ability, excuse me, I apologize, was the ability to get to the website, and you had to go to the district website to do the link. Could you not just type in your search engine www.ryla7670.org and get there also?
Absolutely.
Okay, just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing something.
In case you don't know it or forgot it. Okay.
No problem. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Sure, again here. Okay. All right. Okay, so it looks like I'm going to have to reopen that document again. Guys, bear with me a minute.
Hey, Mike, one strategy you might use is if you hover over at that top, it says you are the share kind of menu. If you hover over it, it should create a moving star there, and you can move that menu over to the right or the left out of your way. Does that work for you?
Yeah, I've got them. Yeah, I've got that. I actually moved it down just a little bit so it wasn't covering up all those. I just discovered it's movable. So, okay, so now I can see what I'm doing here. Thanks for bearing with me here. So I just showed you the student flyer there. The other thing the student might well want to go to is look at these past events. And those will improve over time as well. The only video we've got is this one right here, which the kids can fire up. So we get them all that kind of stuff. And if you get a good video, where you get a lot more action going on, it's something the kids are going to get excited about and want to see. Okay, so let's say the kids have gotten to the website and they are excited about RYLA and they want to apply. They'll go to that student section. They'll click on this How to Apply tab. This PDF right there, and they will get these instructions. If you're one of those clubs that has recruited in your Interact club, you have probably gone to them and already given them the information they need to access the application. And if you have done that, that's what this first document says. The first paragraph says, if you've already got that application access given to you by a Rotary Club, and you know all you need to know about RYLA, then go on ahead, go to the application and apply. If you've not been given that guidance, let's say you're a kid that has just discovered the RYLA website and you've looked at it and you're interested in it, or one of your buddies has directed you to it or what have you, then you need to find out what the local Rotary Club is that is working with that school. And typically, if the club has already a relationship with the school, the counselors will know who that is and can tell the kid. And then they can get directly to that club and say, I'm interested in applying, and the club can send them that application access password link. If they don't know, or if the school doesn't know, they can call me and I'll figure out what club it is that they need to contact. So, okay, so then the next thing that might happen here is that the students get access to that website, and then they want to apply. All right, so they just fill out the application. I'm going to show it to you here in just a minute. But the process they go through is looking at the application. The application has just about every field in there is mandatory, in that if they don't fill it out, they cannot continue with the application. If they don't know what club it is that's sponsoring them, they can't continue with the application. And at the end of the application, we require that student to sign the application, acknowledging that he is committed to going to RYLA if he is selected as a candidate, and that good behavior is expected and that kind of thing, okay? So that's what the student has done. When he submits that application, it will show up on a database that the RYLA team is watching. And by the RYLA team, at this moment, the people who are going to be watching it is me and Jim Cruikshank, who was instrumental in developing this application to suit our needs with DAC-DB. So what do? I said you were done. Well, I said you have to shepherd the application through the process, all right? So you know that you've given some kids access to the application. What you have to do periodically is go to that application to look and see if any kids that you have talked to have submitted an application. And the way you do that is going by DAC-DB, going to DAC-DB, signing in, and going to the RYLA tab. You go to the district tab, and under the district tab, you will see a RYLA icon. Anybody who is a security level 3 or above in the district has had that RYLA tab put on, that RYLA icon put on their district tab here in the last few days. So you go there, you select the RYLA icon, and what you will be looking at is this. This will be a listing of applications that have been submitted by people claiming that you are the sponsoring club. You will only see those applications that have been entered by people that have listed your club as the sponsor. Jim Cruikshank and I, and maybe others on the RYLA team, will see all the applications. We will know everybody who's out there. So when you see this, and you might have 2, 3, 5, 6, I don't know how many kids that you give access to the application, whatever number that is, as they apply, they'll appear on this list right here. So what you do when that happens is you click the name on one of these applications. And what will come up is this. You will see this status line across the top that tells you where the application is in the pipeline, from the kid entering it to it being ready to be put into the RYLA registration file. And you are the one that moves that application across these different statuses. So when you first get the application, what you ought to do with it, first of all, is hit the submitted application button. Move this thing up one notch in the pipeline. What that tells us is if we're back there looking at the list of applicants, if there's an applicant that's been sitting out there as application entered, and it's been out there for a week or two and nothing's happened, we will look at it, we will find out what club it belongs to, and we will call the POC at that club and say, hey, you know, you've got an application out there I haven't done anything with. When you hit the submit button, that tells us that you've seen that application and that you know it's there and you're ready to work on it. Okay?
Mike?
Yeah.
Should we review the application before we submit it?
Not yet. That's the next step here. The next step is you see the next pipeline level is application and review. So in some clubs, there won't be any review. If you're a club that goes to your Interact club and chooses 3 people and gives them all access, you have 3 applications. All you really need to do is look at the application itself and see that everything that's on the application makes sense. Okay, and if you don't, then if you've got, say, your club that has 5 or 6 applications and you've got an interview process with students, then you move this status to application and review. And that tells us on the RYLA team that you know you've got these applications out there and that you're working on them. but you haven't yet decided which kids you're going to sponsor. All right. So when the application is either in the submitted category or in the application review category, you should look at it and you should scroll down here and correct any information that doesn't look right. Now, I told you earlier that the application is set up so that all these fields are mandatory. They cannot move on unless they put a last name in or a preferred name in. But that doesn't mean what they put in always is going to make sense. For instance, if you get down here to student cell phone and you see some alphabetic data in there, that's not right. We know that's not right. The student can no longer get at this application. The only person that can get at this application is you. So you have to correct this. And you can do it right here as you're looking at this application. And if you wanted to change that from a 8 to a 9, you just throw the 9 in there, you go up to the top. There's a little orange button at the upper right, I think it's orange. It's behind the screen up here right now, yeah. It's orange. It says update. You hit the update button and you've changed it. And if you need to talk to the kid to find out what the information would be, you've got some various contact information for the child so that you can go to him directly. One of the key things about this application that makes it possible for us to make this whole process paperless is down at the very bottom here where you see this parent guardian information. Because they have to fill this out, we will have the parent's email address right here. That allows us to send him or them or the guardian the forms that need signatures. We can send them digitally to them to this email box. They can review and sign them, get them back to us, and that is legally acceptable method of doing it because we can get it to their email address, not the kid's email address. So that is a big improvement. So, okay, so you're looking over the application, you decide everything's cool here. This is the kid you want to sponsor. You would move in the application review process. You might be able to move them directly to candidate. A candidate is the last step here. When you move them to candidate, that kid is in, with the exception of one thing that I'm going to tell you about here in a minute, and it has to do with the waivers. But at this point, you're done with the application. As far as the RYLA team is concerned, that kid's eligible to be put into registration. What we will do when this happens is two things. We will notify you that the candidate has been moved into registration. Oh, excuse me, that's not correct. I'm incorrect at this point. We will do two things. They will be this. We will notify the child that he is in accepted candidate status. And at the same time, we will send his parents the waiver packet. Okay? So now the application's completed. You're happy with it. You've chosen the kids. And we send the waiver on off to the parents. Now, the parents then have to look over that waiver, and there are 3 documents in that waiver package, actually. One of them is a informed consent and liability release waiver. One of them is a media release waiver. And one of them is a medical information questionnaire along with a waiver that both the child and the parent have to digitally sign.
We have the possibility of as a candidate, a 14-year-old that will be a freshman when they would go to conference in March. Should we not pursue that opportunity? Well,
my advice would be not. That's pretty young. You know, I didn't hear everything Sean was saying there. My internet dropped for a minute, but one of the issues you've got when you're trying to deal with a age range between, 14 or 15 and 18 is there's a huge maturity gap. And it's tough to do a program that encompasses all that. The kids are in such different levels. So that's why over time we would kind of like to narrow the field down a little bit. But for right now, we'll accept freshmen, but 14 is the low end of all that. So
thank you.
Okay. All right. Let me go back to Sheriff's. I don't know where I was when my internet dropped. Somebody tell me where I was at.
You're talking about the waiver package.
Okay, right. I just finished. I'd finished all the stuff about the application, correct?
Right.
Okay, good. Good. Okay, so what happens after that is the waiver package, and I think I've explained everything you need to know. The only reason you would get involved at that point is if when that waiver package came back to us, we saw something amiss in there. The philosophy here is you guys, you POCs, are the sole contact with the students and the parents. You're in a much better position to work out issues than we are from wherever my kind of dispersed RYLA team is. So what we would do in that case is we would contact you and have you do what you need to do to correct that problem. All right.
Is there any additional information we need to know if student is international, going to school here, parents live in Spain?
Well, I hadn't thought about that one. Jim, do you know anything about that?
I assume you're talking about youth exchange, and it'll probably be going through Fred, and Fred would work with us on that. He is still, he actually has some monies out there to sponsor international students through the youth exchange.
No, sir, not a youth exchange. We have a school that has students, 800 students from 50 countries and 15 states. Some of those students will be juniors and seniors, obviously, in this boarding school, high school. And the person in charge of the stuff there has a couple of candidates in our area in Western Carolina that might have an interest, but they are foreign, non-citizens, and parents are located in perhaps Japan, perhaps Spain, perhaps India, et cetera, and so
on. Mike, I'll answer that, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. Assuming that the club is okay sponsoring that student and we can get the application and the waivers back, I don't see any reason why not. But Mike, I'll let you.
No, I agree with that. I think they would be a great addition to RYLA. In fact, the only concern you would have is whether you have the legal kind of sign-offs on liability.
That was my question. Yes, sir.
And I think that would depend on talking with the school or whoever's running that program. They could give you some information about that.
I think Michael might have an answer. Michael?
Yeah, I was with Fred yesterday at our Rotary meeting, and he asked me about us sponsoring people locally in Brevard, but he also said he had money to sponsor his exchange students to go to RYLA. And we've got one here from the Czech Republic already. And so she will be one of our candidates, but Fred will actually basically pay for him. So I think he's got all the waivers necessary from the parents to send them on that sort of event.
Yeah, I think that's true of the youth exchange program that we're involved in. I don't know what this one is or how they run it, but I think I would leave that to your judgment.
We were just concerned that RYLA might not accept a waiver signed in a foreign country by a foreigner from a legal standpoint. We don't see a problem with it, but we didn't know what RYLA's position was.
My question on that would be, if the child's in a boarding school in the United States, the school may have authority from the parents to do whatever waiver would require. The school probably can help you figure out what you got to do in terms of legalities of guardianship and that kind of thing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So that, you know, I would actually like it if you went ahead and pursued that and found a positive answer. That'd be a great addition to our program to have some of those kids. Okay. All right. So you're done now with the application part of the POC job. You know, you've identified the kid, you've got him through the application process. If you guys remember what the waiver process was like before, where, you know, when we were trying to be paperless and we had kids needing to print the application and scan it or photograph it and mail it to us and all that kind of stuff, you know, that's all gone now. So that's a pretty substantial improvement to get you guys out of the loop on that process. So that basically, I think I've covered everything you need to know to be in a position to recruit kids. I'm gonna remind you of a couple of things. One is that if you get signed applications to us, and that is through the candidate status, and you're ready to sponsor them, you get them to us by the last of December, you're going to get those kids in the RYLA at $300. If applications come in after December 31st and before February 28th, that's going to cost you $350 to get those kids. The one other thing you can do to secure the $300 rate if you want to is to commit to some number of kids, which is a commitment of non-refundable money. So if you in you know, late November say, oh wait, I'm really behind the 8 ball here, school's on vacation, I can't do anything, but I want to send 4 kids, and you want to send them for $300, you need to tell us you're committing to that, and we'll take your money. And speaking of taking money, you don't need to be worrying about sending money as these kids apply. When we've got all the registration documents completed and we've moved them into that registration status, Jim will send you a bill for the kids that have been accepted. And if your club has any money on account with RYLA, he will net that for you.
If we send them money ahead of time to keep the price and we don't send the number of students, will the difference roll over or is it gone?
It's gone. It goes
Use
into
it or lose it.
The RYLA general fund.
Use it or lose it.
Use it or lose it. Yeah. Yeah, Paige?
Okay, couple of questions. I hope I don't forget them. The first one is, okay, so let's say we have 10 applicants and we have 4 slots. If we hold our interviews, you know, we move those that we've selected all the way through all 4 of those steps, then the ones we don't select, do we keep them in that next to last status?
Well, no, at that point, since we have no limit at this point on the number of kids we can accept, we have not developed an alternate spot for kids that you would be holding to fill in if somebody got sick and couldn't make it. So we don't have that need. So once you've decided you can sponsor 4 kids and you've selected them, then you need to tell those other kids that they didn't make the cut and to, you know, apply again next year. So, and we can't do that. You need to do that for them.
Okay. So let's say.
Eventually what will happen, Paige, is after RYLA, we'll delete those ones.
Okay. So we go ahead and submit them all the way through. I'm not sure.
You submit them through the pipeline status that says applicant review.
Okay.
Something like that. And then they just sit there until you select the ones to move to candidate.
And what if, like, let's say we select the 4 students. We say these are the 4 students that are doing this, and we select a couple of alternates, and one of those students can't go. Do we still, and then we move in one of those alternate students? Can we? What am I trying to say? do we still get that pricing, or will we pay the $350 because they were pushed through after the December deadline?
It's a good question.
Because we're going to still pay for those four students.
I would say that you're going to still get that pricing on an alternate student.
Okay.
But keep in mind, if he's been sitting out there in review status, we've not yet got the waiver package on that kid. So you're going to need to. We haven't worked out this detail yet. This is a new system. We're going to have to work on this. Jim, what are your thoughts on this?
Mike, what I would recommend that the club would contact either you or me, and we would delete the person that no longer could go, and then work the other candidate through the process to candidate. And assuming we still have the 4 that you're talking about, Paige, in total that you sponsored, I'm fine with the $300 per, because again, you made the financial commitment before 12/31, and the students are kind of out of your control if they cancel. But as long as you, for some reason you wanted to add another and the club wanted to, there's nothing wrong with adding and sending another 350 that, would invoice you for the, $350 at that time. Or obviously if you did by 12/31, it'd be another $300. So we can work through that. It's just, you would have to let us know that, hey, student X, who we had as a candidate, canceled, and when we would cancel it, and then student Y or E, whatever, we want to put them in the candidate process, and then we would send them the waiver package. And
got it.
The only thing I would add to that is that February 28th is still a hard deadline because we got to order T-shirts and all kinds of things. So we're not accepting, if somebody drops out at the last minute, if it's after February 28th, we can't take them. Hey,
okay.
Just see that DG Tammy signed in here. Are we fixing to step on a meeting of yours?
Yes, sir. I have a meeting at 6 o'clock.
All right. Well, we're just about finished here.
You go ahead, finish up what you got. I'm not in a hurry.
Okay. So, Andrew, have you got a question there?
I have 2 quick questions. I'll try to make them very, very quick. One, I know that most of the students most likely come from public or private or boarding high schools. We're trying to attempt to find some of the homeschooling community because we believe that those kids don't always have access to the opportunity. Any problem with that?
Not at all. Not at all. That's one of the things I tell clubs when I go out to talk to is homeschools, church, wherever you can find a kid. Really, they don't even have to be in a group. As an example, I've gotten some requests from Rotarians who are grandparents, and they have kids that live in South Carolina, and they want to get them to our RYLA. There's nothing wrong with that.
Second question, thank you for that. Second question, in the spirit of DEI, we're also attempting to find some students that may have disabilities. Are there any limitations that we need to think about when we look at
that? Well, there's obviously some activities that they would not be able to participate in, depending on what disability they've got, I think. But the only issue I see on that is we haven't given any thought to other activities, alternate activities that those kids could do while the other kids are climbing towers and things like that. So there's something to think about there. Do you have anybody like that you believe is going to be a candidate at this point?
We do not at this point, but we were trying to be inclusive and did not want to leave out kids that could be great leaders, but might have difficulties in some of the activities that were occurring, and just wanted to know how we needed to think about it.
Well, yeah, as soon as you know that you've got one of those kind of people, you need to get in contact with us, and we'll start thinking in earnest about how we're going to deal with that situation.
Thank you.
Mike, can I comment on that?
Yep.
I would probably discourage, I think discourage is wrong. I would not seek those candidates if I had my druthers. Again, I think a lot of the activities are physical, and if you see the release forms, you'll see a lot of that involved. So I don't think that student would really get the full effect of the academy versus, you know, a student that doesn't have a disability. I don't like saying that, but I'm just being upfront with you. I don't think that would probably be. I think the student might feel a little left out, if that's the correct way of saying that.
All right. Anybody else have any questions about any of this?
Mike, let me make one other comment about the application. The application, when the student fills it out, Mike mentioned the required fields. It will let the student go all the way through and actually click submit or complete. If something has not been filled out, it will refer them back up. It'll highlight those areas. So it's pretty intuitive. It helps them get it done correctly the first time through. So hopefully when you go back through the review process, you won't be having to deal with a lot of those kind of, oh, they didn't fill this in, or we don't have the parent's name, or the parent's email is missing. It really is pretty intuitive as far as getting it complete.
All right, let me just touch on two more things very quickly here about RYLA. First of all, when you guys go out looking for RYLA kids, I need you to give some priority to finding me a kid or two that can be a participant in our student advisory group. We have a group of kids that we want to put together, and we want them to work through the months of November and December on a few tasks that help us define the program, the RYLA program. And here's the three things that we're going to want that group to be working on. One, we're going to want them to be telling us what to do with Saturday night. We've got it set aside for a RYLA social night. And the question is, what do the kids want to do with that? Last time we did this, we had a dance with a DJ, and we can do that again. We could have a talent contest, or we could have a game night, or I don't know what all, but I want the kids to tell us what they want to do with that night. That's one thing. The other thing is everybody's going to get a RYLA t-shirt, and it'll come with some, you know, RYLA logo on the sleeve or something like that. But there's room on that t-shirt for some RYLA graphics. And we would like those kids to figure out the RYLA graphics for us. What do they want on there? What appeals to kids these days? I don't know. And perhaps also a motto for the weekend. Last year when we did, or in 2019 when we did RYLA, we had the motto, have fun and do good in the world. And so something like that, we want those kids to come up with. And the last thing that we want them working on is a playlist of music. I've been to a few different RYLAs, and keeping the energy of those kids up is important. So you need to have a playlist with a lot of energy in it, with songs the kids relate to. I'm pretty sure they don't want a 76-year-old man telling them what songs they want to be listening to. So we need some kids to do that for us. So if you can please find me a kid that can work on that group and let me know which kid or a couple of kids that is, that would be most helpful, and we need them quick. We need them early in the process. Yeah, Steve?
Tell me those things you want them to do again.
I'm sorry.
Tell me what you want them to help you do.
We want them to figure out what to do with social night. We want them to do some graphics work and maybe a motto on the t-shirt. And we want them to come up with a playlist that will be used all throughout RYLA. Whenever there's spare minutes and kids are standing around, we want to have music going. Okay, thank you. The last thing, and then I'll be finished here. The last thing is to be thinking about Rotarian coaches. We are putting in place also an online application process for Rotarian coaches. It is not ready to go yet. We're still working on that part of it. But in the meantime, you guys are the chief marketers to find me coaches, you know, so y'all need to promote that possibility to your club members and
what's a coach?
Send names along to me. And I'm keeping a list of those people. Now, we won't know how many of those coaches we need until we know how many kids that we have. So we won't actually select coaches probably until January or so. But in the meantime, the coaches are all going to have taken the youth protection course, and they are all going to have agreed to have a background check run on them. And those are the conditions. There is a document out in the Rotarian section of the RYLA website called the coach's job description. That is a current document, and you can use it to explain what that job is or direct prospective coaches to that.
Is it similar to camp counselor?
It is, but there's a lot more dimensions to it.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. With that, I don't want to keep Tammy's meeting from any longer. I'm already over by 8 minutes. So unless there's any questions, I'm going to sign off. If you think of something after the fact, send me an email. I've been recording this. I'm going to post this video to the Rotary YouTube channel as soon as I can. So you can look at it again if you want to, if there's something you didn't get. But mainly for the people that didn't attend the session yesterday or today. Yeah, Steve.
See you on Friday.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be at your club talking. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be nice. All right, Tammy, I'm going to turn this over to you and end this meeting. I don't know if that means you have to re-sign in or what, but.
No, I don't think so. I think I can just stay on. Yeah, I think it's all good.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.